checking the forecast. Things looking crazy, a storm on the horizon. The pressure is low, gotta get moving, put on a show. The news is all buzzing, state of alert, but we've got a plan, we're ready to work. Emergency Management Associates, we're here for the crisis, we're here for the fates. From the first sign of trouble to the all clear sign, we're on the front lines, we're one of a kind. Emergency Management Associates, we're the calm in the chaos, we're opening gates, connecting the dots and making the calls. We're picking you up when you're starting to fall. See a little fire or a rising flood, we're a well-oiled machine, we're running in the mud. From the city hall meetings to the rescue teams, turning worst case scenarios into hopeful dreams. We're training the people, we're stocking the gear, we're the team you can count on when trouble is near. Emergency Management Associates, we're here for the crisis, we're here for the fates. From the first sign of trouble to the all clear sign, we're on the front lines, we're one of a kind. Emergency Management Associates, we're the calm in the chaos, we're opening gates, connecting the dots and making the calls. We're picking you up when you're starting to fall. It's more than a job, it's a calling, you see. Prepared for the present and what's yet to be. Every second counts, we're ready to react for our communities. We're making an impact. Emergency Management Associates, we're here for the crisis, we're here for the fates. From the first sign of trouble to the all clear sign, we're on the front lines, we're one of a kind. Emergency Management Associates, we're the calm in the chaos, we're opening gates, connecting the dots and making the calls. We're picking you up when you're starting to fall. Yeah, we're picking you up, we're ready to go. EMA, let's get this show on the road.
Let's get this show on the road. Welcome to Emergency Management Associates, guys. This is Ron Tyler coming to you from the Area Command, 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. We want to welcome everybody here to our program tonight. We appreciate you all being here, guys. It's a pleasure to be here with you. We got Nova Scotia Rich here. Welcome. We got Sig Sauer, my buddy. Patricia's here. How about that? Cassandra Goss. We've got, let's see, I had a few other people. Sergeant Johnson is here. I think Lamazalite is here as well. We appreciate her. We appreciate all of you being here with us. I'm hoping we get a lot more people in here than what we have now, but I'm asking you also to stay here for the entire program. If you're not here for the entire program, you're not going to get anything out of it, okay? We're going to be talking about earthquakes tonight. We're going to be talking about a helicopter crash in Sacramento last night, about 9 p.m. last night. We're going to be talking about 2 storms, okay? First, let's talk about earthquakes. Earthquakes around the world, first thing off the bat, okay? What earthquakes are we having? Okay, let me set this map up for you so you can see kind of what we're talking about here, okay? Let's take our banner down. Let's take my webcam down here so you don't have to look at me. You can look at what's going on. Up here in Japan, first off the bat, okay? Now, this is a large earthquake over on the east coast of Japan, okay? Right here. Yes, it's just barely offshore. It's 17 miles offshore from Honshu, Japan. This is 17 miles northeast of Nami, Japan. Okay? Well, this remains somewhat close. Nami, Japan is a household name here, and there's people that live here. Up and down the entire coastline, there's people that live here. Now, 17 miles is not very far at all. So I don't think they felt this entire quake, but they felt part of it. They may have felt a 4.5 movement, but I don't believe they felt a 5.1 large quake movement. Okay, the ocean waters absorbed some part of this quake. The ocean water absorbed some part of the shock wave here. Okay, so I don't believe they felt this entire quake here. Okay, but there are other quakes here as well. Let's go out to the fault line out here. This is a 4.6 moderate quake here. This is 6.2 miles deep, very shallow quake. This is a 4.7, also 10 kilometers deep. This 5.1 here was 40 kilometers deep, 41 kilometers deep. All three of these quakes are shallow quakes. Okay, nothing more happening. Up here in the north, up here to the north. Okay, this is over in the Kuril Island area. This whole area between Hokkaido, Japan, and Kamchatka Peninsula belongs to Russia. The Kuril Islands. This is a 4.7 earthquake here, 81 miles east of Kurilsk, Russia. 81 miles from Kurilsk, Russia. This is off the islands here. Nobody felt this earthquake at all. Okay, let's go further south. Okay, now just because I'm going further south doesn't mean there aren't earthquakes here. There are, but I want to talk about these earthquakes here. Okay, over here, Balata, Philippines. Balata, Philippines, guys. I'm zooming in here because I want you to know what's going on here. Okay, this is over in central Philippines again. This is a 5.0 earthquake here. This is a 5.0 earthquake off the coast of the central island of the Philippines. Okay, now I don't know the name of it, but there are some settlements of people here. Okay, this is off the coast, 20 miles west-northwest of Balata, Philippines. Okay, I don't believe they felt all this earthquake. They may have felt some moderate shaking here, but they didn't feel large shaking here at all. Okay, now I want to go up here to Cebu, Philippines here. Okay, last week we had a very strong 6-pointer here, a 6.4 earthquake. These people are still recovering. Okay, villages have been damaged. Infrastructure has been damaged here on Cebu, Philippines. Okay, highways were damaged. Okay, some parts of Cebu, Philippines was evacuated because of the earthquake. Now they're still trying to get supplies up here to the northern cities of the Philippines. Boga City here, Boga City, and Maya, Philippines here. They're still trying to get supplies here along the one road leading from the bigger cities here. There's only one highway leading up to the cities here to the north. They're still trying to get supplies here. Okay, these people need to be prayed for. These people still need to be prayed for. They're still trying to recover from this very strong earthquake here last week. Okay, that's not all, folks. Let's back out here some more. Off the northeast coast of Mindanao, Philippines here. Off the northeast coast of Mindanao, Philippines, we have another large earthquake. Another 5.0 earthquake. Okay, this one is also very shallow. It's a 31.5 kilometer deep quake. Okay, 5.0 earthquake off the east-northeast coast of Santa Monica, Philippines. Okay, this is commonly an area where we have earthquakes. We have earthquakes all the time here, but this time it's a large earthquake. This is 34 miles east-northeast of Santa Monica, Philippines. And in this case, I don't believe anybody felt this quake. The ocean waters of the Pacific Ocean absorbed the shock waves of this quake. Okay? Let's back out here. Down here to the south. Okay. This is Caburan, Philippines. Okay. Caburan, Philippines here. This is a moderate 4.8 earthquake. Further south here, this is another 4.7. 23 kilometers deep. It's a very shallow quake. Let's go down here into Indonesia. Indonesia here. Okay. This earthquake you see here is south of Java, Indonesia. South and east of Java, Indonesia. This is a moderate 4.2 earthquake. Moderate earthquake. Okay. Now, these people felt parts of this quake. This is close enough to the shoreline that they may have felt a part of this earthquake. Okay. Now, there's more earthquakes here than that. There are 42 earthquakes here in Indonesia alone. USGS showed one only. Now, there's also an earthquake over here in southeastern Australia. Southeastern Australia. I'm going to light up our webcam here in just a second. I want to show you where this earthquake is. Okay. Again, USGS is not showing it at all. They do that. They do that for a reason. They don't want anybody to believe anything's going on. Okay. But there is. There's most definitely something going on. In this case, this is just a minor tremor. 1.87 tremor over here in southwestern Jamestown, Australia. Southwestern Jamestown, Australia. Okay, it's a 1.87 minor earthquake. It's not listed on the USGS map because they're not going to want to show it. They never do. They don't show 2.6s. They don't show 2.2s. They don't show much of anything. Even 3.0, 3.9s, usually they don't show. Occasionally they might show 4.5 here in Australia. It's rare. It's very rare. Going north over here into Papua New Guinea, this is a little bit different story today. This is a very strong 6.6 earthquake. This is a very strong 6.6 earthquake. This is 16 miles west-southwest of Lae, Papua New Guinea. In the mountains southwest of Lae, Papua New Guinea. There's a good-sized town here. They felt this earthquake. This is a very strong 6.6 earthquake. This happened at 11:53 a.m. Eastern Time today. Down here in Papua New Guinea, it's a different day. This is actually Wednesday today, here in Papua New Guinea. Here in this area, they have better built homes. They have better built homes here. But the outskirts of this Lae, Papua New Guinea, they're still living in small shacks and cardboard shacks and wooden shacks here. That's what happens when you don't have money. Here in Lae, Papua New Guinea, they have some money here. It's obviously have an airstrip here. They also have big homes here. It's a town here. It's a thriving town. But this town has possibly had infrastructure damage, and they may have had some people injured here. We need to pray for them as well. Okay? But that is the largest earthquake of the day around the globe today. I want to show you that. Okay? Over here in Fiji. Okay? This is not the only earthquake here in Fiji today. This is by far not the only earthquake here in Fiji today. I want to make sure you understand that. There are 3 other earthquakes here. Three other moderate earthquakes here. There's a 4.4, there's a 4.5, and a 4.7 deep earthquakes. This is a 4.3. This is 365 kilometers deep. This is not necessarily a deep earthquake. This is moderately deep. But the other three earthquakes are 565 going up to 666 kilometers deep. Those are very deep earthquakes. As a result of the deep 4.7 at 666 kilometers deep, that's going to result in a 6.3. That is going to result in a 6.3 earthquake, more shallow and stronger earthquake. Okay? The other two moderate earthquakes are going to result in large 5.4 and 5.7 earthquakes. Coming within all three earthquakes are going to be coming to pass in the next 3 to 10 days here in this region. Okay, these earthquakes could happen in Tonga, Samoa, Fiji, possibly even further south in New Zealand, over here into the Legacy Islands here, or over here into Vanuatu, or the Solomon Islands, or again over here in Papua New Guinea. We hope not. We hope not. This earthquake in Papua New Guinea is enough. But guys, when we have earthquakes like this that are deep, this is moderately deep, this is not going to propagate anything, but the other three are going to. The other three happened last night and they took them down, unfortunately. I should have taken a screenshot of them to show them to you, but they are all in this area. That's why I'm talking about it. So we need to expect two mid-range 5.4 to 5.6 earthquakes and one 6.4 to 6.6 earthquake to happen here in the region of the South Pacific Islands. It's going to happen. It's a matter of time. It's literally the amount of time. We don't know when, but it's going to happen. Sonic Popo is here. We appreciate you being here. Thank you for being here. Donna Howard's here. Appreciate you a lot. Everybody here, please give us a thumbs up if you enjoy what we're talking about on these programs, and also consider to subscribe to our program as well. Subscribe to our program. That way you'll get notified when we come on the air, and you'll also learn of the emergencies that are happening here and around the globe, all over the globe, literally all over the globe. Emergencies and disasters, we talk about emergency preparedness on Fridays, unless there's something that comes up where we need to talk about preparedness during the week, we do so. But I want to make sure you get the idea of what's happening. These are very strong earthquakes. They're going to be resulting in a lot of damage. Down here in New Zealand, USGS is not talking about any earthquakes here. None. Why not? There are 14 earthquakes here in northern New Zealand. 14 earthquakes here in northern New Zealand. They range in size from 2.3 on up to 3.6 earthquakes. 2.0, 2.9 are minor earthquakes. 3.0, 3.9 are small earthquakes. With that said, out here off the eastern side of Roa, New Zealand, the North Island of New Zealand is called Roa, New Zealand. Here off the coast, we are expecting an 8.0 major earthquake here within the next 25 years. This will be a subduction earthquake. This is a huge subduction area. That's why they're expecting an 8.0 right here. Now down here further to the south on the South Island, guess what? There are 7 earthquakes here. 7 earthquakes here. Up here on the northwestern side, we have three earthquakes, 3.6, 3.4, and 3.2 earthquakes here. Further down here on the central part, west central part of the South Island, we have another 3.1, 3.3 earthquakes here. Further south in South Park, New Zealand, way down here. We have 3 more. Okay. This one is excuse me, we have 2 more here. One is a 3.6 and one is a 2.9 earthquake. 7 earthquakes on the South Island and 14 earthquakes on the North Island. That's not all, folks, it's more. Out here north of New Zealand here, the Kermadec Islands. You don't see them here on the map because they're almost invisible. Almost. They're not really appropriated by the satellites here in this area. But the islands here are called the Kermadec Islands. They are bird sanctuary. Nobody lives there. Only birds. The only time scientists go over here is during high tide. Why? Because these islands were made by volcanic action, volcanism. Okay? Down beneath the waves around these islands are huge peaks of lava that would tear apart boats if they were approached during low tide. That's why the only time scientists go over here is by boat during high tide. High tide. There are there are 6 earthquakes here in the Kermadec Islands today. Okay? They're all 4.2 to 4.6 earthquakes. 4.2, 4.6 earthquakes here. They're all shallow quakes as well. Okay? Let's go further over here to the east. Look at this. USGS is not showing any earthquakes here in South America. There are 32 earthquakes here on South America. Most of them over here along the western coastline of Chile. Western coastline of Chile. Central Chile on up to northern Chile. There are also 2 earthquakes here in Peru. More earthquakes over here in Colombia and Venezuela as well. But again, USGS never shows it. Rarely do they ever show the earthquakes here in Colombia or New Zealand. Or not New Zealand, I'm sorry, Venezuela. There are 10 earthquakes here in Central America. There are 42 earthquakes here in southern Mexico. 42 earthquakes here in southern Mexico. Incredible, huh? They're here all the time. All the time. Last week we had a 5.0 just off the coast of southern Mexico down here near the Cocos Plate. That 5.0 was actually on the San Andreas. Yes, the San Andreas fault comes all the way down here off the southwest coast of Mexico. Okay? That 5.0 is having effects already going north here in northern Mexico and over here in the Gulf of California. We have earthquakes here. Again, USGS is not acknowledging any of them. None of them. Before I go over and show you earthquakes in the United States, let's go over here to Europe. They're showing no earthquakes here. Absolutely none. There are earthquakes over here in Spain. There are earthquakes here in France, over here in Germany, Switzerland, Italy, all over Italy, northern Italy, north central Italy. There are 30 earthquakes here. 30 earthquakes here, and they had a 5.1 earthquake here yesterday. A 5.1 earthquake here yesterday. Now, why did that happen? Why did they have a 5.1 earthquake here yesterday? The answer is simple. We've been having earthquakes here on land here in south or central Italy here for a long time. Anywhere from 20 to 50 earthquakes here in central Italy. And when we have swarms of earthquakes like that, usually results in a larger earthquake. And that happened yesterday, a 5.1 earthquake here. Okay? Incredible. But again, USGS is not talking about it. Heaven forbid. Heaven forbid they acknowledge what's going on here. Earthquakes all over Europe. They don't want to talk about it. 18 earthquakes here in central Greece. 18 earthquakes all over Greece here. Are they talking about it? Heck no. Heck no. They're not talking about any earthquakes over here near Santorini or Thiel in the Aegean Sea. Thiel and this is Santorini here. Thiel Island is right here. The earthquake's here. Earthquakes here in the Aegean Sea. But heaven forbid they talk about it. Heaven forbid they show it. Why are we having earthquakes here? I've talked about this till I'm almost blue in the face. The reason we're having earthquakes here in the Aegean Sea is because there's magma down here. There's magma channels down here beneath the bottom of the Aegean Sea. Magma trying to get to a place where it could erupt. The magma down here is hitting bedrock. Bedrock here. It's fracturing the rock. That fracturing is causing earthquakes, earth movement. When that magma finally breaks through to a hole that will open up to the surface, we could have a new island here in the Aegean Sea, or we could have another eruptive volcano on one of the islands. Each and every one of these islands was made through volcanism. Volcanism. Okay? The earthquakes down here near Crete, Greece. Earthquakes over here in Western Turkey, Central Turkey, Northern Turkey, and Eastern Turkey here. There are 58 earthquakes here in northwestern Turkey. 58 earthquakes. These earthquakes are all aftershocks. Aftershocks of a very strong 6.9 earthquake that hit here about 3 weeks ago. We're still getting aftershocks for a very long time. I believe we're going to have aftershocks for a very long time to come. When we have earthquakes of that magnitude, we always have aftershocks for months and even years. That happens. One of the reasons we have earthquakes here along the Turkey-Syrian border here is because back over 2.5 years ago, February 3rd, 2023, there was a 9.0, 10.0 earthquake here. Huge earthquake. Killed over 5,000 people and injured over 5,000 more. It also created a huge fissure, 14 miles long and 8 stories deep. That's what happens when you have an earthquake of that magnitude. And as a result, even 2.5 years later, we're still seeing a great majority of earthquakes. Anywhere from 20 to 40 earthquakes here a day, sometimes upwards of 50 earthquakes here in this Turkey-Syria border region. All over. Literally all over. Now, I want to show you this. Okay? I want to show you this. This is a moderate earthquake here. When this earthquake first happened, it came out as a 5.0 earthquake here. This earthquake is out here in this body of water. Okay? Right out here. This is right between Darb, Saudi Arabia, and Mecca. Darb, Saudi Arabia, and Mecca. Okay? This is a moderate, they say it's a moderate earthquake. This may have been as large as a 5.0 earthquake. Okay? There are other earthquakes here as well that they're not talking about. That's pretty much typical. We go out here to Australia, or not Australia, I'm sorry, Argentina, Afghanistan. Go out here to Afghanistan. This is another large 5.1 earthquake here. Okay, this is 6 miles southeast of Yangi, Ola, Afghanistan. This is also the same region, the very same region where we had a very shallow 6.1 very strong earthquake many weeks ago. This 5.1 earthquake is another aftershock of that 6.1 earthquake. This area is getting rattled to pieces. Every earthquake that occurs here in Afghanistan is just one more, nail in the coffin of these people. These people live in mud huts. They live in mud homes. They live in caves here in Afghanistan. Every time we have good sized earthquakes here, it's just one more thing that takes down their home, takes down their lifestyle, injures or kills another loved one. We need to still pray for these people as well. There's not a lot of international aid that comes up here because it's a very hard place to get to. The roadways are literally on the sides of mountains. On the other side of the roadway is a cliff that falls a great distance. When the earthquake happened, the earthquake also made those roads almost impassable. That's why the supplies are hard to get in to these regions that suffered the quake. And now just another large quake here, another aftershock. It's terrible, really is. Very sad. Does anybody have any questions about earthquakes around the world? I'm just barely touching on it. I reviewed these earthquakes earlier, but I want everybody to understand there are a lot more earthquakes than are here. A lot more. Now, Sonic Popo says here, and I believe Sonic Popo is probably a cop. With a name like that, they'd almost have to be a police officer. Okay? But I want to stop and acknowledge them for just a second on what they said here. Okay? I am a Christian man. I'm very much a Christian man. Sonic Popo said here, folks, it's time we all wake up and smell the coffee. Our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ has warned us, and is continuing to warn us to get our houses in order, because he's about to bring things to an end here on this planet. The second coming of Jesus Christ is nigh, literally. Now, I will have more to say about that a little bit later in this broadcast at the end of it, because I put together a devotional for everybody here. But this is what's happening here in the world, around the world here. Okay? Now, besides that, there's more. There's more. I want to go across to the United States. I'm going to start over here with Alaska here. Why? Because they've had some more earthquakes, brand new earthquakes here. The brand new earthquakes are in red here. This is near Tokotna, Alaska. Okay? This is in south central Alaska. This is a 3.5 small earthquake. This earthquake to the northeast of there is Nikolai, Alaska here. This is also 3.2 earthquake. Further north here, north central Alaska here, Stevens Village, Alaska, this is a 1.2 tremor. Another red earthquake here. Further over here to the northeast, this is Esther, Alaska, Ester, Alaska. This is a 1.4 tremor. Another brand new earthquake over here in Denali, Alaska, the Denali National Park here. This is a 1.7 tremor here. Denali, Alaska. We go down here to south central Alaska here. This is Whittier, Alaska here. 33 miles northeast of Whittier, Alaska. This is a 1.5 tremor. All the rest of these earthquakes throughout Alaska are tremors and or minor earthquakes. We don't have any major earthquakes or any real earthquakes that we need to talk about here. Okay? That's what's happening here. Over here in the Pacific Northwest, a brand new earthquake over here in Vancouver Island. Langford, Canada, a 1.3 tremor here. Over here in Washington, really nothing really to talk about. Yes, we have an earthquake here just west of Mount Rainier. This is not real, guys. This is not real. They're saying this is a minus 0.2 microquake. 6 miles northeast of Ashford, Washington. No, it's not. It's not. It's in the foothills of Mount Rainier. It is 1/10 of a mile deep. They say it's above sea level, but it's 1/10 of a mile deep. Further south here, south of Mount St. Helens, right here. It's not south of Mount St. Helens at all. It's also not northeast of Amboy, Washington. They're calling this a 0.3 microquake. I'm sorry to say, I don't want to burst USGS's bubble, but there are more earthquakes than this. There are more microquakes than this, and there are more earthquakes. There are tremors, there are minor earthquakes, and there are some 3.0 small earthquakes, both at Mount Rainier and Mount St. Helens. We'll talk about this more on Thursday unless something big happens. But for them to say there's only some minor microquakes here, they're full of crap. They are full of crap. I've proven it with seismic before. They're totally full of crap. Further south here, right here, guess what? Where's this located? Where's this located, guys? Where's this earthquake located? I'm sorry, I showed that to you. That's Mount Rainier. I thought I clicked on this at Mount Hood. Notice where this is at. Notice where this earthquake's at. This earthquake appears to be right down the center of Mount Hood. USGS says this is 6 miles northeast of Government Camp, Mount Hood. Really? 6 miles northeast. It's not. This is down inside Mount Hood. 1 mile deep inside Mount Hood. It's not 6 miles northeast of Government Camp at all. It's inside Mount Hood. Government Camp is down here in the foothills of Mount Hood. Right down here. For USGS saying this is 6 miles northeast, they're full of crap. They have always been failing to properly locate earthquakes. Doesn't matter whether they're in Alaska, Denali National Park in Alaska, over in Washington or Oregon, they don't get it right. This earthquake is a 0.4 microquake down 1 mile deep inside Mount Hood. It's also not the only earthquake here. It's not the only microquake. It's not the only minor tremor. It's not the only moderate earthquake, small earthquake, or minor 2.0, 2.9. For them to post a minor microquake here, just one, is a fallacy. I'm sorry, it's a wet dream of USGS. They never tell us the truth about anything. I know I say that all the time, and quite frankly, I'm getting tired of it myself. I'm asking everybody to keep their ears on us, as Rich says. Keep your ears on. Because we're going to have a huge amount of earthquakes very soon. I believe we're going to have a huge amount of earthquakes here very soon. Further south down in the southern Cascadia region here. Down here in the southern Cascadia region right here. This is a 2.5 minor earthquake. Yes, this is approximately 9 miles west-southwest of Petrolia, California, on the northern part of the San Andreas Fault. The northern part of the San Andreas Fault here. Yes, the San Andreas Fault starts right up here at the triple junction here. The triple junction of the mating of the Cascadia subduction zone, fault zone going to the north, the Gorda Escarpment going further to the west, and the San Andreas Fault here. The triple junction where all three fault zones come together. This is a 2.5 minor earthquake. Further out here to the southeast, on the Mendocino Ridge, the Mendocino Fault. Mendocino Fault. This is a minor 2.0 earthquake. Minor 2.0 earthquake. Now, I want to come up here to Clear Lake. This lake you see here is Clear Lake. We talked about earthquakes here yesterday. There still are earthquakes here at Clear Lake. There are also earthquakes down here to the south. I've explained this before. These earthquakes here are caused by drill points. They're caused by drill points. Seismic energy coming off the Pacific Ocean over here, coming off the Pacific Plate, coming over here to the North American Plate here. Drill points. Men have drilled into the upper magma chambers of this volcano to obtain steam, to power turbines here in the in the wine country, Sonoma County. This is a geothermal area called the geysers. The geysers. Men who drilled into the upper magma chambers of the Clear Lake volcano to obtain steam to power turbines here in the geysers facility to generate electricity. Why? They need electricity. They figured out it was a cheap way to generate electricity. Now we ask, why then are our electric bills so high? Why do we have electric bills as high as we do when this is generally cheap? That's because a lot of men drilled a lot of holes and they built 81 turbines in this facility. 81 turbines in this facility. Here's one right here. There's 9 turbines in this facility right here. There are a total of 81 turbines all over the geysers area. And every day without fail, there are anywhere from 25 to 50 earthquakes here every day. 25 to 50 earthquakes here today. Actually, there's 26 earthquakes here in the geysers today. But they've had upwards of 50 earthquakes here before. That happens every day. This whole area is very, very dangerous. Very, very dangerous. The earthquakes here in the Clear Lake area, the volcano down beneath. The volcano is waking up. Everybody in this area needs to believe it. They need to believe it. Because very soon you're going to start feeling more and more earthquakes. Yes, there have been 3.5 and 4.0 earthquakes here in the Clear Lake area. There's going to be more. As you can see, there are all kinds of housing developments all around the lake. That's because it has become a tourist trap, number one. Number two, there's plenty of people living in this area year-round. Boating, fishing, swimming, other water activities here. Pretty soon, people are going to realize whether they made a mistake, they're going to move out of this area, or they're just going to stick around and see what happens. Again, we talked about this last night, so I'm not going to spend a great deal of time talking about it. We see more and more earthquakes down here in the south. Brand new earthquake here near Alum Rock. Alum Rock. Alum Rock is right between the Hayward and the Calaveras Fault. 2.1 earthquake here. Over here to the southwest, this is on Hayward Fault here. This is the 2.0 earthquake. Hayward, the Calaveras are two of the most dangerous earthquake faults, but there's another one. All three earthquake faults, including the San Andreas Fault, converge quite close to each other over here, just east of Monterey Bay. This area is probably one of the most dangerous areas in California, where these major fault zones come together. At some point in time, people are going to find that out. Unfortunately, they're not going to find it out in time. Tomorrow, we're going to talk more about earthquakes here in Southern California. There are over 400 earthquakes here in Southern California today. 400 earthquakes in Los Angeles. 400 earthquakes here in Los Angeles area. And nearly 500 earthquakes a day down here in the Imperial Valley of Southern California. 500 earthquakes a day down here in the Imperial Valley of Southern California. Every day. Interesting. Nobody pays attention to it. But all of a sudden, when things happen, they go, oh my, what are we going to do? What am I going to do? Sonny Popo, I thank you for putting the fact out that yes, we would appreciate anyone helping us out, paying to keep this program on the air. Sonny Popo says, I wish I could send Ron a fistful of cash, but I can barely pay my own bills. Please help Ron if you can. I appreciate that, guys. If everybody even gave us $1 a month, $1 a month, we could keep this program on the air indefinitely. $1 a month would do it. But people don't even do that. A handful of people keep this program on the air, which I greatly appreciate. But anything you can do to help us keep this program on the air is very much appreciated. You can give us super chats. Give us super chats. Also, our addresses are flowing through the bottom of the screen. Scrolling through the bottom of the screen. We have 2 PayPal locations. Our Venmo location we're still working on. They took it down for some reason. We're trying to put it back up. We also have our mailing address. Okay? Our mailing address is 504 Bethel Road, Box 401. Morganton, North Carolina. The zip code here is 28655. We'd appreciate anything you can do to help keep this program in the air. Okay? You can send us donations to our PayPal. Also, if you want to communicate with us, give us comments, questions, or suggestions on what you want to see on this program, our email address is rltnspdema@gmail.com. We'd appreciate that as well. Now I'm going to get down to the bare bones of our program today. Over here in Texas, we have earthquakes here in Texas, Southern Texas, Central Texas, and Western Texas. Why? Because again, seismic energy coming from the Pacific Plate, scrolling across the entire continent, comes over here to Texas. The seismic energy hits these drill points where men have drilled into the ground to obtain oil and gas. And all of a sudden, the seismic energy fractures the rock in the drill points, in the holes, causing earth movement. That's why we see earthquakes here. Every day, without fail. Southern Texas down here. This is a minor 2.1 earthquake. Christine, Texas. This is the 2.1 here in Falls City, Texas. 2 years ago, we had a 5.0 earthquake here in Falls City, Texas. This may very well be a aftershock of that quake. Other quakes here as well. Go into Central Texas, Stanton, Texas. This is the 1.4 tremor here. Why? An aftershock, another aftershock. We had a 5.0 earthquake here about a year ago. Stanton, Texas. Over here to the east, right close. Westbrook, Texas. These are 1.8 tremors here. Oil and gas, guys. This is right smack dab in the middle of an oil and gas field. Anytime you see round plots, square plots, rectangle plots, oil and gas rigs all over the place here. Just south of this earthquake right here, you see rectangular oil and gas field here. Oil and gas pumping all over this region. That's why we have these earthquakes. This is a 1.8 tremor. Anywhere within 6 to 10 miles of an oil and gas plot, when we have an earthquake, it's an oil and gas earthquake. Oil and gas earthquake. Literally all around Texas is one of the hugest, biggest oil and gas fields in America. Rivaled only by Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska. Let's see, Kansas, Nebraska, and Oklahoma. Yeah, I got it all. Further out here to the west, Oklahoma, Texas, 1.0 tremor. Look at this, guys. Smack dab, right smack dab in the middle of an oil field here. Smack dab right next to a highway as well. 1.0 tremor here. They're all over. Over here, Forsyth, Texas. 1.3 tremor here, also right smack dab in the middle of an oil field here. Right in the middle of an oil field here. Look at all these oil and gas plots all over here. Smack dab in the middle of an oil field. Incredible. Unreal. Further out here to the west, that's a Stanton, Texas earthquake I told you about. Further to the west here, this is the New Mexico-Texas border. Mentone, Texas. This is also 1.6 tremor here. Oil and gas all over this area. Look at this. Huge oil and gas field here. Out here we have a small swarm of quakes here. I like to, this is not really a swarm, but a cache of earthquakes here. We have a brand new earthquake here. This is a 1.1 tremor here. Again, it's right smack dab in the middle of an oil field here. Look at this. Oil field everywhere. Oil and gas plots everywhere. That's a 1.5. This is a 1.6. Further north here, this is a 2.0. Interesting. Right smack dab in the middle of an oil field. Yeah. Oil and gas quakes in Texas, guys. They're everywhere. They are literally everywhere. I don't know how many oil and gas projects, pumps and jacks there are in Texas, but there are over 586,000. 586,000 pumps and jacks all over Oklahoma alone. Who knows how many there are in Texas? Incredible. Now I'm primarily going to be talking about the New Madden Fault here. The New Madden Fault, like I said last week, has been lighting up. It's lighting up even more. I'm going to show you a lot of earthquakes here on the New Madden Fault. Some of these may surprise you. Depending on how long you've been on this program, if you've been here recently, it will be really surprising to you. Those of you that have stayed with me over the past 6.5 years may not be so surprising, because 3.5 years ago, this hardly was going on at all. All we had were tremors and microquakes along the Nevada Fault. Now we have large earthquakes. I'm going to show those to you tonight. Over here in Tennessee, this is a 2.2 minor earthquake here. A 2.2 minor earthquake here in eastern Tennessee, Dayton, Tennessee. Look where it's at. This is in the southern Appalachian Mountains, or the southern Blue Ridge Mountains here. This is the southern part of the Eastern Continental Divide. The southern part of the Continental Divide here. That's why we're seeing earthquakes here. We have earthquakes happening all up and down the entire Continental Divide. Yeah. All up and down the entire Continental Divide, including up here in Canada. And yet USGS is not showing them to us. Fancy that. If I have time, I'm even going to show you earthquakes over on the East Coast. I'm going to show you physical earthquakes on the East Coast. A lot of them. A lot of them. Now let me take down our map here, and let's turn to our seismographs. The seismographs I'm going to show you are graphs coming from the seismograph, the physical instrument that comes up with these graphs as a result of seismic energy triggering the seismograph. So let's talk about it. Let's show you what's going on. Actually, before we do that, before I show you what's going on along the Nevada Fault, I forgot something very important here. We have two storms here. One storm down here in the Yucatan Peninsula. You can't forget about it. You can't forget about it at all. Why? Why? This storm over in the Yucatan Peninsula could be dangerous. Could be dangerous. Why? Can anybody tell me why it could be dangerous? This is a trough of low pressure. This is a trough of low pressure down here in the Yucatan Peninsula. They've already had plenty of rain. They've had some tropical storms go through here in the past 2 months. This is another trough of low pressure that's bringing more rain and disturbances to the atmosphere here in this area. Okay? Now, this area is producing a large area of disorganized showers, thunderstorms, dangerous thunderstorms. This system is expected to emerge over the Bay of Campeche later today. Some slow development is possible before it moves inland over southern Mexico, late Wednesday and early Thursday morning. Regardless of the development, there is a 10% chance of a cyclone formation, meaning a tropical storm possibly turning into a larger storm after that. Regardless of the development, there's areas of heavy rains and gusty winds very likely over the preceding portions of the Yucatan Peninsula and over into Belize and southern Mexico during the next couple of days. We need to keep an eye on it, because again, this could turn into a tropical storm. If that happens over the Gulf down here, it's going to become very dangerous. The Gulf of America here is 80 degrees warm. When this low pressure system gets out over the Gulf of America, it could turn into a tropical storm and could possibly even stay over the Gulf and go into Texas as a hurricane. Let's hope it doesn't. There's also another storm here. We also need to talk about another storm. Big deal. Big deal. This tropical storm Jerry out here. Tropical storm Jerry. Now, guys, this is a decent sized storm. Okay? It's already a tropical storm. It's in the warmer waters here in the Atlantic Ocean, just north of Venezuela. It has maximum sustained winds of 45 knots with a peak gust of 55 miles per hour. Its northern movement is at 20 knots at 23 miles per hour. It's going northwest at 20 knots at 23 miles per hour. The minimum central pressure of this storm is 1,003 millibars. Okay, it hasn't become dangerous, but as it moves northwest, possibly over into the outlying islands and over here into the U.S. and British Virgin Islands, or even possibly over here into Puerto Rico. It's still a long ways away, but this storm could be dangerous coming here. We're going to watch and see what happens. This is October. We have until mid-November to go through hurricane season. This may still be a very dangerous storm. We'll have to see about it. Just going to have to see about it. Now, I want to talk about last night's helicopter crash just outside Sacramento, California last night. I'm going over Fox 40 News to give you the information. There are 3 people injured by this helicopter crash.
To speed on this harrowing situation that unfolded right in front of dozens of drivers last night on the highway. A medical helicopter crashed down on 50, bringing traffic to a screeching halt. Fox 40's Tony Salazar is live here in Sacramento near the crash site. This is on the 48th Street overpass on 50. Tony, what is the NTSB now saying this morning?
Well, Melanie, I can tell you that they actually just posted an update earlier today. We're talking about an hour ago. The National Transportation Safety Board, or NTSB for short, saying that they are handling the investigation into the helicopter crash. The federal agency went on to say that the helicopter was leaving UC Davis Medical Center here in Sacramento on its way to Redding. Again, these are just some of the very early facts that we're learning about this helicopter crash. As a matter of fact, I want to show you this viewer video that Fox 40 did obtain here. This shows the moments before the helicopter crashed on Highway 50 here. You can see the helicopter hovering low before it goes down on the eastbound lanes of Highway 50, erupting what appears to be white smoke. Sacramento.
Look at that, guys. That helicopter exploded. It's lucky only 3 people were injured.
Fire officials tell us the crash sent 3 people to the hospital, and that includes a pilot, a nurse, and a paramedic who were all on board. First responders were able to rescue 2 of the 3 victims quickly, but required assistance from bystanders who sprang into action after one of the victims became trapped underneath the helicopter.
We're extremely lucky that there were only 3 victims. It's unfortunate they're in critical condition, but all of our ambulances were off scene with transportation and care being performed on these victims within 20 minutes.
Now, I was able to get in contact with Justin Sylvia, in which you just heard there. He's with the Sacramento Fire, and I did ask him about the current update for those 3 victims that we just went over who were last listed in critical condition. He told me this morning that he's also trying to get those answers for us and that he will update us hopefully in the coming hours when it comes to their latest condition. But I really want to talk about the flight radar, because that shows the helicopter is operated by Reach Air Medical Services. Now, this is huge because a company did release a statement saying that it is aware of the accident involving a Reach Air medical helicopter and confirmed that no patient was on board. You can probably read that statement on your screen yourself there. The statement went on to say and really thank the community for their concern and support. Now, the CHP investigators, they were the primary agency when the helicopter did touch down here along Highway 50. They were taking photos of the crash scene, collecting any evidence before removing the helicopter around midnight here. Now, the crash did happen on eastbound Highway 50, and you can see kind of right behind me, traffic going pretty smoothly this morning. It was also the westbound here. This is right behind me. That was also largely impacted. Both sides, that is eastbound where the crash happened and westbound on Highway 50, both were, traffic was at a standstill for several hours up until about midnight here. So when it comes to learning more facts about this investigation, it's going to take several weeks, several months before we find any more any more answers as far as why and how how this medical helicopter landed and crashed along Highway 50 in the first place. So we're going to keep you posted on the air and online, especially when it comes to the latest condition on those 3 victims. Again, it was a pilot and 2 medical personnel. That's the very latest. We're live in Sacramento this morning covering local news that matters. I'm Tony Salazar. Fox.
Okay, that was bad last night. Okay, the highway was closed until sometime after midnight last night. It happened just after 9 p.m. That was a bad accident. Could have been worse. Fortunately, traffic was died down at night. That's the only real save here with that helicopter crash. This was alongside the roadway. If traffic had been like it is during rush hours, morning, noon, or night, it could have been a lot worse. Only 3 people on board the helicopter were injured. That's lucky. We got very lucky with that. Okay? Very lucky. Now, let's talk about the earthquakes on the New Madrid Fault. Okay? This one here. Look at the earthquakes here. This is Arkansas, guys. This is Arkansas. Hatachikoon, Arkansas. Last week was the first time we mentioned Hatachikoon. This is about 50 miles east of the fault zone. 50 miles east of the, or it's not east, but west of the fault zone. 50 miles west of the Mississippi River. We're getting these earthquakes here. This is serious. This is serious. Last night. This top line here is midnight last night. For the first 2 or 3 hours, all we saw were very minor tremors here. That's all. But all of a sudden, later this morning, look what happens. Let me enlarge this so you can see truly what I'm talking about here. Okay? After 8 a.m. Right here over on the left-hand side, you see 0800. That's 800 hours. 0800 hours. That's 8 a.m. This first earthquake happened after 8:15 on the red line here. This is actually 8:22 a.m. this morning. This is a 2.7, 2.8 earthquake. Then after 8:30 here on the blue line on the left-hand side, this is 8:33 here. This is a 2.5, 2.6 earthquake. Then a little bit later, 8:10 or 8:40. 8:40. This is a 1.7, 1.8 tremor here. Then we come down here to the next blue line. 9:30. 9:33, we have a 3.0 earthquake. Small 3.0 earthquake here in Hatachikoon, Arkansas. $8:38, a 2.5, 2.6 earthquake. Then we come over here to 8:44 a.m. this morning. A 3.0 earthquake that lasts about 5 seconds. 3.0 earthquake lasts about 5 seconds. Back-to-back earthquakes. Prior to that, we had some tremors, and after that, we had more tremors. Okay? Then we come down here to 9:30 on the left-hand side. Come over to the right side. This is 9:44 a.m. this morning. This is a 2.7, 2.8 earthquake. This morning. Unreal, guys. This is happening. And this is only here. We've only begun to touch the surface of what's happening here on the pneumatic fault. This is the Hatchicoon, Arkansas this afternoon. The top line here is 12 noon. Top black line is 12 noon on the left-hand side. We drop down here to the blue line here. All of a sudden, 12:31 p.m. this afternoon. We had some minor earthquakes, and all of a sudden we had a 3.03.2 earthquake. 3.03.2 earthquake here. Then look at the aftershock after that. The secondary wave, as we call it. After the main profile of the earthquake hits, then we have the secondary wave. The secondary wave here lasts nearly 3 minutes. The secondary wave has 2.6, 2.7s, has a 2.8, 2.9, and a bunch of tremors. The secondary wave usually tells us how strong this earthquake really was. Again, this is at least a 3.0, possibly a 3.1, 3.2 earthquake. Small earthquake. People can feel small earthquakes. Another earthquake after 1:32 this afternoon. That itself is a 2.5, 2.6 earthquake with tremors on either side of it. Then we come down there to 2:32. Just before 2:33, we have another 3.0 earthquake. Several 3.0 earthquakes, actually. And a bunch of minor earthquakes as well. Hatchicoon, Arkansas today, guys. Very busy earthquake day. Doesn't stop. Let's go over closer to the pneumatic fault to northern Arkansas. Over in Madrid, Arkansas now, look at this. This kind of seismic activity in Madrid happens every day. Every day. Up at the top here on the left-hand side is midnight. Tremors. Tremors. 2.5, 3 minutes of tremors. Then at 12:03 this morning, 2.5, 2.6 earthquake, and more tremors after that. 12:45 over on the left-hand side. Over here, we're at 12:51. We start off with tremors, we go over to minor earthquakes, and then we have 2.7, 2.8. Minor earthquakes. We come down here to 2:30 on the left-hand side. 2:31, 2:32, 2:33, 2:34, we have tremors. Then those tremors build over the next minute. All of a sudden, we have a 2.0 earthquake. Then within about 30 seconds, we have a 2.8, 2.9 earthquake. Then we have another episode of secondary wave. The secondary wave in this case lasts 3.5 minutes, which means this 2.8, 2.9 could actually been larger quake, possibly as much as a 3.1, 3.2 earthquake. Madrid, Arkansas. This is a city. This is a small city here in Arkansas, guys. Look at the other tremors here. Over on the right side here on the red line. 4:15 on the left-hand side, we go over here to the right on the red line here. In this case, we have some tremors starting about 441, 442, building up to 443, 444, more tremors. Then all of a sudden, on the black line, you don't see, or on the blue line, on the left-hand side, you see earthquakes here. Those tremors over on the right side at 429, 428, 429, the tremors turned into 3.0 earthquakes over here after 4:30. 3.0 earthquakes for about a minute, 60 seconds. 3.0 earthquakes for about 60 seconds. Plates rattling in your cupboards. People are sleeping here. They may have been woken up by the slight shaking here, but it's not over. 12:45, not 12, 4:45, it happens again on the green line. Unreal. 5:45 on the left-hand side of the next green line, over here on the right. This is right before 6 a.m. Tremors and minor earthquakes. We come over to 6 a.m., we have some minor earthquakes here. 2.0 earthquakes, maybe 2.1. Then we come down near to 7:15 on this next red line. We have tremors develop into minor earthquakes. On the next black line, 8 a.m. on the left-hand side. On the right, we have 8, 13, 8, 14. And over here on the left-hand side, all of a sudden, 8:15. 3.0 earthquakes, 2.9, 3.0 earthquakes. Then we have a secondary wave that lasts about a minute and a half. So I'm going to stay with 2.8, 2.9 earthquakes here. Okay? Then we come down here to the final bottom black line here on the left-hand side. It's 11 a.m. But over here in the center here, I want to show you what's actually going on. Let me enlarge this so you can see it. Look at that earthquake. Starts off with tremors at 11 a.m. Goes 11:02, 03, 04, 05. Starts to get larger 06. Just before 8:07, gets even larger, 1.8, 1.6, 1.8 tremors. Then about 11:09, we have 2.0 earthquakes. By 8:10, all of a sudden we have 2.4, 2.5 earthquakes. Then within the next 40 seconds, we have 3.0 earthquakes here. 3.0 earthquakes lasting 2.5 minutes. People are either awake or bounding out of their beds now because the earthquakes are when they're waking up. Oh my, the bed is shaking. My dresser drawers are moving across the floor. My chairs are moving across the floor. They hear dishes rattling in their cupboards. They have knickknacks on the shelves in their living rooms and in their bedroom. Some of that has fallen off shelves. That's what happens when we have these size earthquakes. We go down to the blue line on the left-hand side, it's 11:30. But over here in the center right, we have tremors building up to 2.3, 2.4 earthquakes. Minor earthquakes. We have a tremor sequence that lasts about 6 minutes here. Tremor minor earthquake sequence that lasts about 6 minutes here. Unreal. Mark Tree, Arkansas. Again, these earthquakes happen every day here in Mark Tree, Arkansas. This should be nothing new. Earthquakes happen here. Now, in this case, this is Mark Tree, Arkansas this afternoon. I pulled this SiteGround just before 3 p.m. Central Time. That's why it just barely shows just after 2:45 here. Here, you see elevated seismic activity, tremors, just after 12:32 this afternoon. More after 2:32 this afternoon here. Building up to 2.0, 2.2 earthquakes. Yeah. Mark Tree, Arkansas. Usually this happens more in the afternoon than even during the day. But the seismic energy usually builds up. It probably did. Probably did build up to a lot larger earthquakes than this. Ozark Folk Center, North Central Arkansas. Ozark Folk Center here. Look what happens here. The top line here is midnight last night. Then we have tremors here. Then you see the Papua New Guinea earthquake here. Just about 6:30 this morning, we see a Papua New Guinea earthquake pop up. You don't see this on every seismogram because the agency deleted the information. This is an object lesson here. They don't show the Papua New Guinea earthquake on all the seismograms, but on this one they did. Interesting. Interesting how they either erased or deleted the information. That Papua New Guinea earthquake was a very strong earthquake. And it even registered in strength over here in Arkansas. Just after 6:13 a.m. this morning, we had some minor tremors and earthquakes. Minor tremors and earthquakes. At 6:15, it turns into tremors and then a 3.0 earthquake. Then more tremors and another minor earthquake after that. 2.3, 2.4 earthquake. Then more tremors. Then we come down here to the green line after 11:45. Another 3.0 earthquake after 11:45 this morning. Ozark Folk Center, North Central Arkansas. Notice North Central Arkansas. This is about 250 miles west of the Mississippi River, 250 miles west of the New Madrid seismic zone. Interesting how this energy is going over here to Central Arkansas. You see this happen a lot. We see this energy situation a lot at Ozark Folk Center. We've even seen regular 3.0 earthquakes off and on all day long here at the Ozark Folk Center here in North Central Arkansas. That happened this morning. Look here this afternoon. This afternoon, guys, this afternoon here, 12:45 on the green line on the left-hand side. Over here on the right-hand side, this is 12:53 p.m. this afternoon. 12:53 p.m. this afternoon, we have a 3.3 earthquake. Notice how long it lasts. 45 seconds of shaking. 45 seconds of shaking. At least a 3.3 earthquake here. There is no secondary movement here. So I'm going to stay with that 3.3 earthquake. Then after 1:15 on the left-hand side, we come over here to 1:19 p.m. this afternoon. Another 3.0 earthquake. After 1:30 on the left-hand side, we come over here to 1:33. This is a 2.8, 2.9 earthquake here. Ozark Folk Center. So the seismic energy stayed here literally all day long. That's pretty much what we see here at the Ozark Folk Center. All day long. Now let's come over here to Central Arkansas. Literally about 20 miles east, 20 miles west of the New Madrid Fault. Let's talk about Truman, Arkansas. Truman, Arkansas. Usually, guys, we see more than just minor tremors and minor earthquakes. The largest earthquakes here are 2.3, 2.5. Usually we see 3.0 earthquakes here all the time here in Truman, Arkansas. These are long duration quakes here. These are long duration quakes where we have tremors, then a buildup to a 1.5, 1.6 tremor, and then it goes back down. Tremors in this case last about 5 or 6 minutes. Occasionally we'll see a tremor buildup, tremor sequence building up to 2.0, 2.2 earthquakes. That's what we're seeing here. Truman, Arkansas. Again, we usually see full-blown 3.0 earthquakes here in Truman, Arkansas. Now it's just tremors and minor earthquakes here. But let's go further south. Further south is Tyrons, Arkansas. Again, this is right along the west side of the pneumatic segment zone in Arkansas. Look what we're having here. We're having minor tremors, absolutely. We're having minor earthquakes. 2.0, 2.5 minor earthquakes here as well. Then, 7:30 over on the left-hand side on the blue line. We come over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 minutes later. 7:36, we have our first 3.0 earthquake here. That's number one. Number two comes after 9:15. 9:15, another 3.0. We come over here to the right, 9:23. Another 3.0 earthquake, a couple of them. Then just over a minute later, another 3.0 earthquake. (9:30) on the left-hand side, on the blue line. We come over here at 9:27 a.m. 3.1, 3.2 earthquake. These are small earthquakes, guys. They rattle and roll. They rattle and roll. They don't do much damage, but they rattle and roll here. Fascinating. The next earthquake occurs on the blue line here after 10:30. We can't hardly see it because a 3.0 earthquake happens over here after 10:49 a.m. this morning. 3.0 earthquake here. On the blue line above it, again at 10:36 a.m. this morning. 2.7, 2.8 minor earthquake. 11:45 on the green line center here. 11:45 on the left-hand side. Now we are at 11:52. Minor earthquakes happening here. 2.5, 2.7 earthquakes here. Tyrons, Arkansas. But it didn't stop. It continued throughout the afternoon. Look at this. 12 noon at the top left-hand side. 1 p.m. is the next black line. Right before 1 p.m. we have 12:45 again. This one is a 3.2, 3.3 earthquake. And you notice more 3.0 earthquakes later on. All over here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 3.0 large earthquakes here. The bottom one here is after 2:48. 2:48 p.m. this afternoon on this green line. That's a 3.3 small earthquake. That's a 3.3 small earthquake. This is on the pneumatic fault. The whole thing's moving. Let's go north. Let's go to the north side of the Pneumatic Fault. Let's go to Decatur, Illinois. Last week was the first time we saw this kind of activity before in Decatur, Illinois. For the first time in our lifetimes, we're seeing 3.0 earthquakes happening in Decatur, Illinois. Midnight here, look at the top line. We're having 2.5, 2.6, 2.7, and 3.0 earthquakes just after 12:04 a.m. this morning. Then we have tremors and minor earthquakes here. But what happens after 5, 6 a.m.? Look at all this activity between, say, 5 a.m. and 12, or I should say 11:49 on the bottom green line. 11:59 on the bottom green line. We're seeing 2.0s, 2.5s, 2.8, 2.9, 3.0 earthquakes here in Decatur, Illinois. All morning long from approximately 5 a.m. on. 5 a.m. on. Guess what? It continued this afternoon with this. The entire Pneumatic Fault is moving, guys. The entire Pneumatic Fault is moving here. The top black line here is 12 noon on the left-hand side. We are seeing 2.4, 2.5 earthquakes just after 12:32, 12:33 a.m. or 12:03 a.m. this morning and this afternoon. It's ongoing. We're also seeing upwards of 3.0 activity here. This continued after 3:30 this afternoon. A friend of mine that lives here told me it continued until after 3:30 this afternoon. It may be even continuing now. Incredible. Incredible. The northern part of the Pneumatic Fault is moving. We can't ignore it. We can't ignore it any longer. How about Stronghurst, Missouri, or Stronghurst, Illinois here? The whole fault is moving, guys. Yes, on this particular slide, you're also seeing that earthquake in Papua New Guinea this morning. But look at the earthquakes here in Stronghurst, Illinois. 2.7, 2.8 earthquakes and tremors here. Lots of them. Over here on the right-hand lower side here. This is 9:59 a.m. here, and we're having a 3.0 earthquake right here. Stronghurst, Illinois. Unreal, guys. This is the first time that we reported on this. Up until 3 years ago, all we had here were tremors, minor tremors. Minor tremors. I was over in Arkansas, and I think I told you about this last week. I was over in Arkansas in 2011, the anniversary of the pneumatic earthquake. For the first time in history, since the pneumatic quake went off, we had three 3.0 large earthquakes on the Pneumatic Fault on that Monday, the anniversary of the pneumatic quake. After that, it calmed down to nothing but tremors. Now it's picking up again. It's been picking up for weeks and months now. Weeks and months. It's not slowing down. It's not going to slow down, guys. Now, I want to take you over south to Louisiana. Let's go over to DeRidder, Louisiana here. Look what happened here. We have never seen this before, guys. We have never seen this before in Louisiana. What happened here? Let's enlarge this so we can show you what's going on. Just after 6:30 this morning, the tremors took off. Tremors turning into minor earthquakes, turning into small 3.0 large earthquakes. That's what we had happen here, literally all morning long after 6 a.m. 6 hours of earthquakes. It didn't stop. It did not stop. 6 hours of tremors and minor and small earthquakes here. Southern Louisiana here on the Pneumatic Fault. What happened this afternoon in DeRidder, Louisiana? Let me show you. It continued. I believe it's still continuing. Look at the earthquakes here, guys. We have minor earthquakes going up to 3.0 large earthquakes here. All day long. Already we have 8 hours of small earthquakes. 8 hours of minor and small earthquakes here on the Pneumatic Fault. Guys, this is serious. This is very serious. 3 years ago, all we had were tremors. That's all. People used to ask me, Ron, what's going on with the Pneumatic Fault? I said nothing. I was right. All we were having were tremors. Now, within the last several months, and yes, up until a year ago, we had some small earthquakes over on the Arkansas side of, what's it called? The Martree, Arkansas. Martree, Arkansas, we saw 3.0 earthquakes all the time. But that's the only place. Other places we had were minor earthquakes, 2.0, 2.5. Now suddenly we are seeing 3.0 earthquakes all over the place, north to south on the Pneumatic Fault. From DeRidder, Louisiana on the south side, upwards into Decatur, Illinois. The entire Pneumatic Fault is waking up now. It's waking up. It's a big deal. What have we learned from this? Is there anything we have learned from this? Be awake. Be awake. This is Kewanee, Missouri this morning. Look at this. Yes, we had some microquakes here in Kewanee, Missouri. Microquakes turned into tremors. Tremors turned into 2.8, 2.9 earthquakes. That's what we see here after 12:45 a.m. this morning on the Green Line. 2.8, 2.9 earthquakes, and the tops and the bottom of this earthquake sequence were cut off. So this may have been as large as a 3.3 earthquake. Why do they say 3.3? Because after the main part of the earthquake stopped, the secondary wave continued. It continued for 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes long. That's why I'm taking this from a 3.0 earthquake on up to 3.2, 3.3 earthquake here. Kewanee, Missouri. You can see other minor earthquakes and tremors here, but also after 4:15 this morning on the red line. On the red line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 minutes after. Tremors are building up. At approximately 4:47 or 4:41 a.m. this morning, we had tremors. 4:42, tremors. 4:44, tremors. 4:45, all of a sudden we have 3.0 earthquakes. Again, look at the top and the bottom of this sequence. It's been cut off. This was at least a 3.0 earthquake. It lasted 1, 2, 3 minutes. 3 minutes of small shaking. Small seismic shaking here. Guys, it's serious. It's very serious here. We haven't seen Kewanee, Missouri act this way except in the last 3 weeks. We've been showing you these earthquakes in Kewanee, Missouri for 3 weeks now. The seismic energy is built up here. It's ongoing. Let's go over to Portersville, Missouri. No, before we get to Portersville, let's go to Matthews. Look here at Matthews. Matthews, Missouri, guys. This looks like Mark Tree. This looks like over in California at Walnut La Puente. This looks like what was happening at Mount Shasta 3 years ago. Yeah, Mount Shasta 3 years ago, USGS hadn't seen us yet, and they were showing us what was actually happening at Mount Shasta. I believe Mount Shasta is still active and it's still moving. Small earthquakes in Mount Shasta say there's magma inside the volcano. Yes, I believe that's happening. But USGS stopped telling us about it. But here on the new manifold, guess what? It's moving. Matthews, Missouri. Matthews, Missouri, guys. This is serious. 3.0 earthquakes and they're long-lasting quakes. Up at the top left-hand side, it's 12:30. 12:36 a.m. this morning. Tremors. Tremors. 12:39. 3.0 earthquake. Earthquake lasted 1, 2, 3, 4 minutes. 4 minutes. The top and the bottom was cut off. You can see it. This was a larger quake than they're showing. Because heaven forbid they tell us about the truth. They're not. Mog Boss just gave himself an EMA 1 membership here. You can buy memberships here on this program. The least expensive is $1.99. The next one is an EMA 2, which is $2.99. The EMA 3 is $1.90 or $3.99. We appreciate that, Bog. God bless you for that, Art. Tomorrow morning, we're going to have an EMA membership meeting. I hope your guys are all here sometime after 10 a.m. in the morning. EMA membership meeting at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. Again, Matthew, Missouri. We haven't seen this before. The last 3 weeks this has been happening. It's ongoing. Multiple 3.0 earthquakes lasting several minutes. That's unreal. The entire New Madden fault from north to south is moving. From Illinois all the way down to DeRidder, Louisiana. Portersville, Missouri. The same thing. The same thing. 3.0 earthquakes all over the seismograph. And yes, we're seeing tremors as well. Portersville, Missouri has been showing us for months now. Now it's every day. It's every day, guys. Portersville, Missouri this afternoon. Tremors and minor earthquakes here. The entire fault is moving. Now I want to take you over to eastern Tennessee. Hopper, Tennessee. This is the eastern Tennessee seismic zone. It's a seismic zone all itself. It stretches all the way over to the southern Blue Ridge Mountains. We just used to see tremors out here in Hopper, Tennessee. Now we are actually seeing minor earthquakes and also 3.0 earthquakes here in Hopper. Before this, we only saw 2 3.0 earthquakes in Hopper before, several weeks ago. Now look at this. There are at least 3 or 4 3.0 earthquakes on this particular seismograph. Hopper, Tennessee. Yes, we're seeing tremors, we're seeing minor earthquakes, and 3.0 small earthquakes here. This is going to get larger. This is Hopper, Tennessee this afternoon. Yes, we're seeing 2.3, 2.4. We're seeing 2.8, 2.9 here. We're seeing 2.0 earthquakes. Minor earthquakes, guys. This was not normal even several weeks ago. Not. Didn't happen until now. It's moving. Mist in Tennessee, look at this, nothing but tremors here. That was just south of Hopper. Tremor activity. Long duration tremor activity here. The entire fault line is moving. That's what I'm talking about. Let's go over to Ridgely, Tennessee, over on the eastern side of the New Madrid. The eastern side of the New Madrid, probably about 10 miles east of the New Madrid Fault. Ridgely, Tennessee. We used to see 3.0 earthquakes all the time here in Ridgely. All the time. Multiple times a day. Now we are seeing tremors and minor earthquakes here. We have a minor earthquake after about 10:19 a.m. this morning. 2.0, 2.2 earthquake. All the rest of this is tremor activity. We're also seeing that earthquake in Papua New Guinea here. That earthquake in Papua New Guinea from 7:30 until about 10 o'clock this morning. Unreal. Unreal. Do we have any questions? Do we have any questions? This is important. I wanted you to see this. People have been questioning me about the New Madrid Fault all the time, and basically, I am the only one covering the New Madrid Fault like it is. I'm the only one showing you all the seismograms. I am the only one showing you the earthquakes. Nobody else shows you all the earthquakes like I do. They might point out an earthquake here or there, but I am showing you all the earthquakes up and down the entire New Madrid seismic zone. Why is this important? Why do you folks think this is important to know about? Millions of people live between the Ritter, Louisiana, all the way up into Illinois. Millions of people. Several million people live over in between the New Madrid Fault on the eastern side in Arkansas, Little Rock, Arkansas, over to Memphis. Probably 2 to 3 million people there. And thousands and tens of thousands, even more, going north. Up into Decatur, we're probably talking about another 1 million people there. Why is that important? Folks, the New Madrid Fault is going to pop. I don't think we have much longer to see before we see a major quake here. I'm talking an 8.0 earthquake. Scientists said that the last earthquake was at least an 8.0. not a 7.1 as they previously thought. So now we are preparing for an 8.0 major quake here, just almost like what we're going to see at the Cascades subduction zone within the next 15. But I don't think it's going to be that. I believe the Cascade is going to go with the next 5. Scientists are saying 15 and 25. I don't believe that. I believe the pneumatic fault sometime within the next 2 years is going to pop. Now, why is it important? Because major roadways, highways, one lane going in each direction, north and south, east and west, for the most part. But I-40 between Little Rock all the way out into Arkansas and all the way across into Tennessee, I-40. 3-lane blacktop in each direction, right over the pneumatic fault. When that 8.0, 8.1 hits, all of the bridges are going to go down. They're going to go down. They have not been reinforced for a major earthquake. There's been some upgrade on the I-40 bridge, only because 4 years ago, a canoeist was canoeing down the Mississippi River underneath the I-40 bridge and saw some cracks on the superstructure of the bridge. They closed several lanes of traffic on the bridge until they repaired it. So yes, they repaired that part. But that's not to say that 8.0 isn't going to take down that bridge, because it quite possibly will. And all the other bridges up and down the entire pneumatic fault. Gas lines are going to pop, causing fires. Houses and buildings are going to be on fire. Gas lines in the streets and in the fields are going to be on fire. The only way they're going to be able to put them out is by airdrops. Airdrops from either planes or helicopters. Because only the fire engines will have that water that they have inside the storage tank on the fire engine. Yeah, it's going to be bad. People are going to get hurt. Hospitals are going to become isolated. They're going to have to depend on their gas generators, the gas and diesel generators, to get by. Hospitals are going to become isolated. Ambulances and fire trucks are only going to get along the roadways for a very short period. The roadways are going to be disrupted either by the downing of bridges or great big huge fissures open up in the roadways. Because these roadways, these north, south, east, and west roadways, one lane in each direction, they used to be cow paths. Now they are paved roads. Back in the day, these cow paths had huge fissures that open up after the earthquake happened. And we had a huge stopping of the water flow on the Mississippi River. The Mississippi River stopped flowing for 7 minutes, causing the now Real Foot Lake to fill in. Where you see the Real Foot Lake now in Tennessee, used to be a huge gully, huge valley. The Real Foot Lake water came in from the Mississippi. It's still there today. As I said before, guys, it's serious there. When I was there in 2011, I spoke to emergency managers up and down the entire fault, from Illinois, Tennessee, Mississippi, Oklahoma, Missouri, Illinois. Emergency managers were concerned then. But then they were only experiencing minor tremors and only small earthquakes. There had only been 3 small earthquakes in 2011. That's all. Now they're seeing not just minor earthquakes, but 3.0, 3.5, and even 4.0 earthquakes on the pneumatic fault on a daily basis, up and down the fault on a daily basis. This should be concerning everybody because the pneumatic fault is going to open up. Millions of people are going to, one, be inconvenienced. There will be thousands upon thousands of people killed and injured when the pneumatic fault gives up. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Why am I talking about it? Because each one of us needs to understand and realize what's going on. You need to take the bull by the horns. You need to take the bull by the horns. You need to be prepared. Those of you who live on the fault, you need to get prepared right now, almost immediately. Because when this fault happens, we don't know exactly the day, but it is going to happen. That I promise you. It will happen. Are you prepared? Are any of you prepared for what's going to happen? We have a lot of people here in the EMA family that live along the fault zone. A lot of people. Are you prepared for what's going to happen? It's going to be bad. It's going to be very, very bad. Are you and your children prepared? Do you have first aid kits? Do you have preparedness kits? Do you have sleeping bags? Do you have storage food? Do you have food in your pantry? You need more than 3 or 4 days worth of food in your house. You need at least 2 or 3 weeks of food in your house, if not 3 or 4 months or 6 months or even a year's supply of food in your house. If you don't have that now, you need to get it. You need to get it now. You're not going to have much more time. I promise you, you're not going to have that much more time. The last days are here. Earthquakes happening along the East Coast, the West Coast, all over the United States and Canada. Earthquakes happening in Alaska. Earthquakes happening in the Kamchatka Peninsula to the northwest. Earthquakes happening in Japan. Large major earthquakes happening in Japan. It's happened this year. We've seen large earthquakes in the trench in the middle of the Atlantic, just south of Guam. We've seen major earthquakes in Indonesia, Myanmar. We've seen very strong 6.0 and 7.5 earthquakes all over the world. We've seen tsunamis. Tsunamis for the first time. They're only going to get larger. Are we prepared? Are our people in Hawaii prepared? They need to be. They need to be. They are isolated from the entire world. The islands of Hawaii and everywhere else are isolated. If you're anywhere in the sound of my voice today, you need to be wary of what is going to happen around you. I'm telling you guys, what's going to happen is not good. Get prepared now. On Friday, I'm going to talk about preparedness. I usually devote preparedness to Fridays. When I get off on tangents like I've just done, I will talk about it because this is serious. The pneumatic fault is popping up all over the place. The pneumatic fault is scheduled to be an 8.0 earthquake. It's going to happen very soon. Probably, given the situation we're seeing now, probably within the next 2 years. Get prepared. The USGS is not going to show you on their maps. The only way you're going to find out the information is listen to this channel, because we're giving it to you. We are giving it to you every day. Go and make sure you're subscribed to this program. Subscribe to Emergency Management Associates, and when you do, there's also a little button right next to the subscribe button. Click on that little bell icon. When you do so, there will be a drop-down menu of 3 items pop up. Click on the word ALL. That way you're going to get notified when we come on the air. This is the only way you're going to find out what's going on, because we are the only organization that's telling you about it. We're the only organization that's showing you the seismograms, showing you the data. You need to be prepared. It's happening. If you're not already on the pneumatic fault, you know somebody who is. Your family members, your neighbors, your friends. Make sure you share this information with them. Your family, your extended family, your friends and neighbors, the people you associate with on social media, and also the people you work with. Everybody needs the information we're talking about on EMA. Also want to ask each of you to also consider donating to our PayPal here. We'd appreciate to keep this program on the air. Our address where you can send us cards and letters is 504 Bethel Road, Box 401. Morganton, North Carolina. The zip code here is 28655. It's scrolling along on the bottom of your screen. Our PayPal location is scrolling along the bottom of your screen just above that. So please consider donating to our PayPal. Send us a card or letter, and inserting a check or cash inside that card or letter. We'd really appreciate it. Now, guys, we're at the end of our program. I didn't mean to come on the air so late, and already it's almost 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. I want to share a scripture with you. This scripture comes from 1 Thessalonians chapter 5. Chapter 5, verse 23. And the very God of peace sanctify you wholly. And I pray God, your Holy Spirit and soul and body be preserved blameless. Be preserved blameless unto the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ. Be faithful. Faithful is he that calleth you, who also will do it. Brethren. He's not just talking to the brethren there, he's talking to the sister as well. I'm kind of cracking a joke there. He's talking to the women and the men here. Brethren, pray for us. Greet all the brothers with an holy kiss. I charge you by the Lord that this epistle be read unto all the holy brethren. The grace of our Lord Jesus Christ be with you. Amen. Guys, be prepared. The second coming of Jesus Christ is going to take us without much notice. Christ is coming back, and he's coming back very soon. I ask everybody to please be prepared. May God bless you. May God be with you. If anything else happens tonight or in the morning, we'll be back on the air to tell you about it as soon as the information becomes available. I want to remind all of you we will be back on the air about 10 a.m. in the morning for another episode of Emergency Management Associates members only. Unless something else happens, we turn it into everybody's meeting. Until then, guys, may God be with you. May God protect each and every one of you. Pray. Pray for yourselves and your families. Pray for yourselves and your families. As my buddy Rob 52 says here in the chat all the time, John 3:16. God sent not his only Son into the world, his only beloved Son, for each one of us. Remember John 3:16. God be with you until we meet again. We'll see you on the other side.